Hello, friends. Welcome to a Pioneer tradition unlike any other. It's brand new, carried on from Pioneer March Madness. It's that time of year. Summer's here, the weather's turned. Break out your sweet tea and pimento cheese. It's time for a gentleman's game.
Gentleman's game.
The Pioneer Open. So, similar to March Madness, we're going to do a competition where every single station competes. However, we're not going to do group play. It's going to be every station in an open field, kind of like you would see in the U.S. Open or the Masters.
Everyone against everyone.
Exactly. And each month, 11 stations are going to get eliminated. So
11?
Mission Day, March 11th, the bottom 11 stations will be eliminated from competition.
May 11th.
May 11th. No. 11 stations in May. Mission Day, like the last day. Do we need to restart?
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it. Thank you.
You said March 11th.
11 stations in March
It's gonna be May.
on Mission Day get eliminated. We'll still keep track of their points, but they're not in competition to win the whole prize. And then when we go into June, of the 22 stations that are left, at Mission Day in June, another 11 will be cut. So then we'll go into July, which we'll call the Masters. And the 11 stations remaining will go into a cutthroat competition. So everybody starts at 0, and it's whatever you can produce in July will be the winner.
Nice.
Yeah. So we did a completely different point system than Pioneer March Madness. The way we're going to do it, obviously golf theme, your par is going to be 1 point. Different from last quarter, any contract, doesn't matter the category, gets you a point. 1
Okay.
point overall.
1 point.
And then also, to get the school recruiting plan going for FY26, any COI event that a station funds through APA and then turns in an AAR, that's also a point.
Okay, so like going to the conferences over the summer, buying lunch, buying breakfast for the teachers.
Exactly.
Get a point for that. Okay.
Exactly. So you don't have to write contracts to score points. So we expect the point totals to be much higher than they were in the first quarter. And then going into the second scoring category, you've got the birdie. So any grad alpha is going to be 2 points all through.
Okay, grad alpha's ever important.
Yep. And then also a birdie is going to be your future soldier referral bonus. So any contract you write, doesn't matter what category, if they're built in Recruiter Zone as a future soldier referral, it'll be 2 points added on to whatever the original point system is for that contract.
Yeah, I mean, future soldier referrals, that's what gets you through the summer anyway, right? You know, when I was recruiting on the ground, that's what we were doing. Where do you go? You know, our kids aren't out, kids are at home. You're referral prospecting. Telephones ain't working, social media might not be working.
Exactly.
The kids know each other and they're going to find each other.
And we've also seen stations, like through this year, we've already got a couple stations that have a very strong future soldier program. We want to reward them for that. And the stations that don't have such a strong program, try to encourage that process to go through the system.
Okay.
One thing to note there is that we will be spot checking at the battalion headquarters to see if those future soldier referrals know who they're referred or who their referee was. So say that future soldier Holderfield gets credit for a referral, and I call him up and be like, hey, do you know Johnny? And he's like, who's Johnny? That station will lose every single future soldier bonus point for the entire competition. So anything that they had earned previously goes away, and then they're locked out of those future soldier referral points for the rest of the competition.
Keeping them honest. Okay.
Exactly.
I like it.
I don't plan to call every future soldier because I don't have the time and I'm PCSing, but maybe the new XO will.
You won't call every future soldier because you won't be here in June and July.
Yeah.
Someone will call every
Someone
future
will. And then moving into our big point category, the Eagle. 3 points for every senior written through the summer.
soldier. Every senior.
Every senior.
Okay, so school year 25 and school year 26.
Yeah, so your school year 25 seniors, as long as they're in school, which is really just through this month of May, they count as 3 points. As soon as they go into the grad pool, then they drop down to a birdie for 2 points.
Okay, or 1 point if they're abroad.
Or 1 point if they're Bravo.
Okay.
And then the school year 26, so as of today, class of 26, we can write as seniors. So any class of 26 that you write through the summer is going to be 3 points. Alpha or Bravo, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Lots of points there. And then similar to our contribution bonus, the Albatross, 8 points. Huge bonus, but we upped it to 80% contribution rate for the quarter. So your 4-man stations, you guys have to write 100% contribution, and your 5-man stations have to go 4 for 5.
Wow. Okay. Contribution rate's always important. That's the thing, right? Getting everybody to support the team.
Yep. CG has made it a priority, so obviously the BC and SAR Major have made it a priority as well. I'm trying to get to that 75%. If we can get to 80 and reward people for 80, the thought is that we'll naturally fall somewhere below there. And then hole in one, again, 10 points. If you can close your reserve mission by week 2 of the RSM, you get 10 points. And you can do that each month.
Wow, yeah. Well, so the battalion's on for a lot of reserve over the next 3 months.
Yes, so I know May is on for 54 AR, and then I haven't seen the number for June, but it's going to be somewhere in that area between 50 and 60.
That's good, yeah. So recognizing that that's important because that mission is raising, and you know, if you're helping out, then
exactly.
Hole in one.
Everybody here has done extremely well on the RA side. We've been RA complete for 5 months in a row, but that AR mission is holding us back from that volume. So the intent there is to try to incentivize that AR mission, close it out early, and then you can get back to doing your RA production.
Drive to volume, mission accomplishment.
Exactly. And now we get to the less fun part. Out of bounds, Q&E. So anybody that goes to the floor, qualified, doesn't write, loses a point.
Okay.
On the floor. Ops has found a way for me to track that, so they've given me the information, and I'll go in there each week and find out who the Q&Es are. So we saw a little bit of that end of first quarter, going into second quarter. So again, that's something that the BC and SAR Major said, hey, that's unacceptable. We've got to find a way to eliminate those Q&Es, talk to the applicants, and make sure they're on board with the process that we're pushing them through.
Okay.
And then going into another one of their incentives or disincentives, future soldier losses. Previously, if you took it early enough, you didn't lose any points. This summer, if you take a future soldier loss at any point, it's -2. It was -1, now they're -2. And then if you take it in 0 to 9 days, that's -4, double bogey.
Okay.
So there's potential for some stations to go in the negative. If you're holding your losses through mission week and then you start week 1 and you're taking a 0 to 9 day loss, you're 4 points in the hole that you've got to climb back out of.
Oh, really emphasizing future soldier losses, huh? Just June and July, you know, there's some history in USAREC with losses in these months, so to prevent them, you know, that's an important thing, and that's why we're giving points for it.
Absolutely, those bathtub months, we're trying to even those out. And then the final category is the mulligan, 0 to 8 points per month that the BC and CSM can award how they see fit. So if you have an awesome summer event like a fair or a festival, or if you're doing really good with your future soldiers and you don't take any losses, not only would you keep the points that you've earned, but you could potentially earn more points in the year. And from what I understand, they're also going to keep the mission accomplishment. So if you go 100%, you're going to get a bonus point. If you go over 100%, you're going to get increased bonus points.
Wow. Okay.
And they're going to reward the heavy hitters. So those people that are writing 3-4 contracts a month, also earning points for their station.
So you heard it. Maybe if you get me on stage at the Jazz and Rib Fest, you might get 8 points, or I could put in a good word for you. I don't know.
Do your best. Yep. And then so when we do the scoreboard, we've broken it down to 13 weeks. And the way that we did the point system, we pulled the numbers from first quarter to kind of prove the system to see if the numbers would come out. All of our winners from Pioneer March Madness, only half of them made it into the Masters.
Wow.
Yeah, so the point system, it's going to reward different stations for different production. And that's what we were looking for, trying to change the game, make it so everybody can compete. With the point system, with the others going to everybody, and with the future soldier referral bonuses, we think that'll give the bigger stations a better opportunity to score some more points for the volume that they're putting in.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important. Yeah, just emphasizing performance throughout and not just limping out of the group and then becoming successful at the end.
Exactly.
Got to make the cut every month.
And then we also pulled, so each week, obviously mission week, everybody writes a lot of points. So we also have a par for each week to have an idea of where you need to be as a station to stay competitive throughout the competition. So if you look into this week, the first week in May, you need 2 to 3 points to stay competitive. But when it comes to mission week, on week 5, you need to be scoring 10 points to be in competition with those top 11. So obviously if you just write 5 points a week all the way through, you're doing great. You're going to do amazing. But if you start slow, and then you're going to have to build up and ramp up even more as we approach mission week. And that scales each week as we go into each RSM.
So we sort of have a leaderboard, just like at a golf course, where you got green numbers, red numbers,
Exactly.
and the black where you're at where you should be.
Yeah, so our leaderboard that we'll put out will have the top 11, but we'll also have a second tracker that's got every single station where they are, and it'll show the trends up or down based on how they perform each week. So we'll do the points that way. And then also on the leaderboard, something TTP that we picked up from the last competition is we're going to keep the company points up there, and we're also going to keep track of our heavy hitters. So those people that are putting in contracts are going to go up on the leaderboard, and you'll see their names along with the top stations across there.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're super excited. It's going to be a fun time. I think the competition is going to be just as good as Pioneer March Madness, if not better. The Pioneer Open should be a good time.
Awesome. Should we talk predictions?
I mean, we can.
Okay. All right. Actually, my model here that I put together actually has this as a tight race between Florence and Galley.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's
Two opposite sides of the net there.
You know, we're going to have to let golf happen, but you know, that's what I'm seeing here. You know, just based off of some projections that I made, how they perform in the summer, and then the unstoppable X factor of Sergeant Nava in Florence. You just can't beat it. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's the MVP of this league right now.
So when I was pulling through and looking what people have got on the APL, T&E, and how they normally do in seniors, Zanesville's a station that popped out to me. They have a really good Future Soldier program. They're always right in seniors. They've got a great amount of market share. I think they're a station that kind of slipped up first quarter, but second quarter, I think right in those seniors going through the summer months, I think that's going to serve them really well. And then the other one I had an eye on was Westerville. They're hitting the driver from the tee box. They're hitting the driver from the fairway.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not hitting the driver onto the green, but
They changed the swing a little bit. I see.
they did.
Yeah, so.
Yep. So I think those two bigger stations, I think with the amount of points that are out on the table, I think they'll be able to do well. But it's really going to be on if those smaller stations can close that AR mission and get that contribution rate. That's what's going to keep them competitive.
You know, that's actually an interesting point you make, because the smaller stations have a better chance to get the contributor bonus, but there's a lot more opportunity for alphas and just writing contracts to come out of the large station if they don't get that. So it could close that gap a little bit.
Absolutely. Yep. And the model that we built to test the point system, we had a good representation of small and large stations in the top 11 at the very end. So it all depends on how the contracts go. Like you said, we got to play golf. But at the end of the day, we think we've got a system that'll reward people for writing contracts for the summer.
Wow. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait.
It's going to be a good time.
Courage and grit.
Grit to win.